These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? We're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
Getting better all the time. There's nothing you and I won't do. I'll stop the world and melt with you.
These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 38 of America's Barley Basket. I'm your host, Nathan Fulsebuck. Sitting beside me virtually is Marlin Wells.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlin.
How are you?
You know, I'm going to tell you, I came into this batch of episodes, trepidation was the word I think I would use, because I'm telling you, that last episode, group of episodes, they shook me. They did.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you were
I was
rattled.
Fucking shook. Call up Mob Deep, because I was shook.
Yeah, I approached this batch with fresh optimism. I was I wasn't as down on last week's as you were, and B, I'm a ray of sunshine, so I was very excited to watch Simpsons this week.
Man, I wish I could have shared that with you. Oof. I was like, I had like a kind of like a come to Jesus moment with myself. Hey, man, you can't. We got it. You got 20 more fucking seasons of this. You can't get shook this early on.
I'm glad I didn't get any manner of hey, man, I think I'm done text messages last week. You know what? I'm good.
If it didn't come last week, we're probably good.
Yeah, fucking fair weather podcaster over here.
Yeah, I think I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not going to get blown away by it much anymore. Mm-hmm. And that does, because this show, for the last fucking 4 months of us doing this, has been fucking baller.
Yes.
So fucking good. Like, to the point it's like, almost was like I should just go back and rewatch like 3 through 8 because like, man, that was some good fucking TV, dude.
Yeah, it was, and it'd be fun to rewatch without having to take notes and shit, so you can just enjoy it.
Yeah, holy, that was good. Yeah, like one of the we reach moments like this was too good to be on antenna TV or on network TV. Like,
oh god, that phrase kills me. You fucking hillbilly.
Yeah.
Pana TV.
Peasant vision is what it was often referred to back home too.
Man, I had a fun occurrence earlier this week. Not sure why I'm sharing that story, but somebody got himself into the dried apricots earlier this week.
Ooh.
And then was at the grocery store and had to really double clutch a fart that was turning the bad way on him.
Oh. Did you ruin a good pair of dress sweats?
No, I ruined a grocery store bathroom, left my cart right there, right by the spices. So I only made it about halfway through the store, and I was like, "Whoop, hang on."
I love grocery shopping. You see that orphan cart just chilling. Oh, what happened? It's like, is this a funny story or a sad story?
What's the story here?
Are they shitting or are they dead?
Were they abducted?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it really did a number on and really did the old axe and smash on a fucking Hornbacher's bathroom in the middle of a Wednesday afternoon. Really, just a chocolate shotgun number on that place.
What was Demolition's finisher called?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Wasn't it axe would set the guy kind of on his knee, almost like a backbreaker position, and smash and do an elbow drop off the top onto the guy?
Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Oof. That's the beauty of doing the low carb thing. Besides, if I go a little too hard in the paint with coffee, I rarely demolish toilets anymore. Mm-hmm. It's just pitching fucking, like garden hose rope into the toilet, just like angry coiled snake.
Oh man, that dried fruit will get you every time, but it's fucking good. How do you stop?
Oh man, yeah, like I could eat prunes every day. but I also would have to just lay in a wading pool in my living room, just in a t-shirt I don't plan on ever wearing outside, and just occasionally shower, just to hose myself off.
And that's no way to live, Nathan.
Yeah, I need like a calf sleigh. Just like they could drag me out in the yard, they could hose me down.
Tip you out of it, hose you off, tip you back in.
Dump some more prunes in with me. Here you go, you sick bitch. too dehydrated to even care about the insults. I'd stand up and give you what for, but I'm cripplingly dehydrated right now.
I ordered myself about $70 of dried fruit online a few weeks ago. That's just been hanging out into my cupboard, and really got into it.
Well, that's a peculiar avenue of the social distancing lifestyle that I haven't went down yet. The splurge on dried fruit.
Yeah, I was treating myself. I got some apricots and peaches and plantains and
dried apples are a surprising treat.
I'm not a dried apples or dried bananas fan. So,
I can take it or leave it with bananas. Yeah, dried strawberries I like too.
I got some dates that are about half the size of your fist, just some big bastards.
No shit.
I'm fucking living over here,
yeah,
Nathan.
Man. How about prunes? Have I heard prunes mentioned yet?
I didn't order prunes because I was making it a point to order things that aren't readily available here in town.
Oh, very good. Smart move. Very smart move, yeah.
Yeah, like I can get prunes anytime. Prunes are delicious, but...
God, yeah. Man, just when I think of prunes, I think of that little cart getting wheeled into the kindergarten classroom, and it was snack time. And me, 6 going on 76, just fucking over the moon when I'd see they're handing out little cups of prunes. God, still do. Lifelong enjoyment of prunes.
I was never. I'm not over the moon about them like you are, but I do enjoy. I'll eat a handful.
Yeah.
Out of that weird cardboard tube that they come in, like oatmeal.
Yeah, and a handful is just enough to ruin an evening.
I gotta weigh in tomorrow. I better eat 2.5 pounds of prunes.
High school amateur wrestling match coming up. I better prune it up tonight. Have you or anyone you know ever delved into those sugar-free Haribo gummy bears that are notorious?
No. I've heard the horror stories, so I've always stayed away.
I think that your true calling, it's almost like this is the prep work before a big match.
Oh,
so
boy.
You're diving into the dried fruit. You're getting your lower GI tract just punished, just getting it in fighting shape. And I think your battle is going to be a bag of those sugar-free gummy bears. And you're going to let us know how that went.
That should be the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
That's my M. Bison of...
Yeah. I would say if you eat a bowl of apricots, that's like Balrog and Vega and Sagat all in one. So you're ready. If you're handling that, you are ready for the Haribo sugar-free. Oh, you want to sit back and have a good half minute or half an hour of laughter. Read the Amazon reviews on the people that order those.
I think I've read a couple of the old horror stories of the sugar-free gummy bears.
Like stomach cramps so bad you cannot straighten out your body. You're just lying, hopefully somewhere with linoleum, shitting everywhere. Your body's shaped like a question mark. It's an unnatural position. What does one do if you were to lose control of your bowels and you have cloth seats? Do you burn the car, commit insurance fraud? You are a better man than me. If you could just go to an auto detail place, like, hey guys, I shit my brains out in this car. Like, what can be done? What can we do to clean this?
Oh God, yeah. I think that you just pointed at a back alley wall and put a brick on the gas pedal and let it go. That car is dead to you now.
Yeah. And somehow it doesn't explode, so they just find it. Yeah, a little front end damage and human shit everywhere. He didn't even take the registration off. This is Marlin Wells' car.
There's enough shit in here that we can file it under an act of God claim, and we're not going to cover anything.
I think like 7 homeless dudes diarrhea in this car. This couldn't have come out of one man.
There's no way. Did he have livestock in this car?
Yeah. This is a hatchback. I don't even know. Maybe like sheep.
Oh man. Yeah, so that's the life I'm living this week.
You're not letting people tell you what to do. You are living your own life. Your own truth. Your own GI trauma truth.
Yeah, I am what I am, and I won't apologize.
Your colon has had it too good for too long. You're letting it know that you're still in charge.
Yeah, really testing the gates is what we're doing. And watching Simpsons. We're doing plenty of that as well. It's not all public diarrhea in our world. We've got 5 more episodes this week, as per usual. They are numbers 9 through 13. That, again, I always feel the need now to mention that is the Disney Plus numbering because of that one that was out of order for whatever reason. Number 9 this week is Lisa the Skeptic. They're having a boat giveaway at the cop shop, which is a sting operation set up by Wiggum and the boys. What they did was just said they mailed all the criminals a coupon that said they had won a boat and that they should come pick it up. And of course it works because the people of Springfield are dopes.
And in a case of Simpsons did it, it was either the Fargo or Grand Forks, North Dakota Police Department did a similar thing. Wasn't it free Ozzy Osbourne tickets?
I was about to say, I vaguely remember them doing an Ozzy Osbourne ticket sting.
Yeah, for people with warrants. And it kind of made national news when Ozzy Osbourne spoke out against it. Because he was coming to town.
Move. Yeah. And then, you don't want, if you're Ozzy, you don't want your name attached to that. Exactly. Especially Ozzy's persona, you know. It's not like he's some fucking friend of the police or something like that. The man is banned from the Alamo for pissing on it. Like he's not buddy with the 5-0.
I like the idea that the Alamo is just so like out in the open that you can just casually piss on it in the middle of the night.
Yeah, like is it not guarded? Is it just?
Yeah, it must not be. Like, I'm just like picturing it like in a fucking kind of like suburban strip commercial area, like in between like a I don't know, like a Shoney's and like some kind of muffler shop, just right there. Like they should put siding on it. It looks old and dumpy.
It's bringing down our property value.
It doesn't even have
here.
Wi-Fi
or glass windows. It's all just rock. The Homer got a notification that he had won. We find out. I was curious why, and then as soon as he comes through the door looking for his boat, he's immediately busted because he has like 273 unpaid parking tickets, which amounts to something like $175. He just writes him a check. Yeah. And then is very sour as they're driving home because he was expecting a boat. He had a captain's hat, which I thought was nice. Yeah. And then on the way home, he's pissy.
We get good dumb Homer at the beginning of this, where his stupidity doesn't bring sadness and shame to the family. It's fun-loving dumb Homer.
Yep, just good-natured stupidity, which I always like. They drive past a place where they're building a mega mall, and Lisa, of course, finds something to be in an uproar about. Turns out they had found fossils there some time back, and she's mad that they're building a mega mall there. So she goes to Principal Skinner, or first she goes to the place where they're building it and talks to the people there, and they, as a way to get some good publicity, agree to let them look for fossils for a set amount of time, and if you don't find anything, we're going to keep building. So she goes to Principal Skinner, makes it a school trip where all the honor students, they get a reward of getting to go dig for fossils, and all the detention students get a punishment of having to go dig for fossils, which I thought was funny.
Is it funny also that I'm almost have like a nostalgic feeling for a time when it was economically feasible to build a mega mall? Like, shopping malls are so irrelevant now.
They're
dying.
Didn't even strike me, but yes,
isn't that weird?
That's a different time.
Yeah, when we were kids, shopping malls were the coolest place to buy shit. Now they are empty. They're they're sad. You go there to as a voyeur to watch capitalism die. Oh, Claire's is shutting down. Oh no.
Oh no, not the wet seal. Don't take the wet seal.
And you live in western enough North Dakota. Did you guys ever do anything like go somewhere to look for fossils? We did. We went to a gravel pit one time and just I don't know what we were looking for. Apparently someone's found some fossil shit. So we basically just threw rocks at each other when the teacher wasn't looking, and then no one found anything.
No, not that I can remember, but I come from a part of the state and a part of the prairie where you can find teepee rings and arrowheads kind of all over the place. It's not
totally,
it's not a daily occurrence, but you find them, found someone in everyone's junk drawer back home. They have a few arrowheads and a few rattlesnake rattles. That's in everyone's junk drawer back home.
There's a chunk of land that my great uncle had. It's in the hills where I'm from, but it's high up, but it's also prairie, so it's clear. And you can kind of see probably I don't know, not full 360, but 270. So you can tell that back in the day, the natives liked it because, you had clear view if anyone was coming. And my dad talks about when they would break that land for putting crop in, there'd be so many hammerheads. It'd be like a nuisance. It's God damn it, throw these artifacts in the brush.
God damn it.
It's clogging everything up. My great uncle Selmer, he had shoe boxes full of random arrowheads and hatchet heads and stuff like that.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of that out there, but I don't remember any manner of school archaeological dig.
I just have to stop asking about that.
You've reached a point now where you're just gonna stop asking if my school ever did anything.
I need to just stop and ask myself, what's the saddest answer? Because the saddest answer, yes, no, we did not ever have ice cream. They would just every day they open up a big bag of uncooked rice and we would kneel in front of it, gorge ourselves on rice. In a non-air conditioned lean-to.
Yeah. No, we got dry dog food, and then we took the wagon home after school.
Burlap sack that has the word meal printed on the outside of
it. They got salt lick blocks like you get for cattle or deer set around. There's one in every classroom, which means there's only two, because there's only two rooms. One is the bathroom. Yeah. No one's licking on that one. Yeah. Lisa, they're all digging around. There's a fun moment where she goes, "Come on, guys, we might find a Tyrannosaurus Rex," and Ralphie jumps up and screams and runs away crying, which I thought was fun. The idea of that scared Ralphie so bad. Lisa finds a skull, and then she keeps chipping away and brushing away to reveal what appears to be the skeleton of an angel, like a human skeleton with wing bones on it. And the whole town kind of is in a hubbub over it, and they're all looking at it and trying to decide what it is. And then they try to decide who should keep it. And by that point, Homer has chained it to the top of the car, and he takes it to the Simpson house.
Where he puts it into the safety deposit closet, which I really enjoyed. And
the valuables closet.
Which I'm sure you did the same. You pause, and there's some very fun little reminders of episodes from days gone by. Like, we see Mr. Plow, the jacket. We see his town crier hat and bell. The Grammy that he won with the B sharps.
We see the heads of the itchy and scratchy animatronics.
There's one that I have a question for you. What is the significance of that bag of Farmer Homer's sweet, sweet sugar?
I think I don't think we ever saw the bag back then, but I think that is meant to be
the sugar pile?
Yes, from the sugar pile. I don't know that we ever saw a bag of it back then, because it never made it past the pile.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it just seems like I would have remembered that packaging.
Right. I think that's what that's meant to be. Maybe they wanted to represent that somehow, but didn't know how, so they just made a thing that didn't actually exist, but that we would recognize. I like that he has a can of Billy beer in there.
Yeah.
And takes a long, refreshing swig of it and says, we elected the wrong Carter. Which I got quite a chuckle out of.
So, could you imagine what that would taste like?
Oh, God.
A beer that in its prime was shit, I'm sure.
And now, it's 25 years later at this point?
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that would taste like. There's a montage of people, not a montage, but several people all in a row coming to the door wanting to visit the angel, which gives Homer the idea of he starts charging admission.
Yeah.
And he has set up a whole little pedestal, like a tiny stage with the angel on it and Christmas lights and a pair of fuzzy dice over the top of it. Which I thought was a fun, nice touch of like, this is how Homer would present this for sure.
What do you think sales of fuzzy dice? It's had to have been a sharp down. Like, do people buy shit? Like, I miss that. Like, cars are so specialized now that like you can't just take random parts of them off and replace them with novelty shit you buy at fucking Kmart, like,
or Spencer's.
Yeah. Like you buy a 1980s Chevrolet pickup, you can take 1/3 of that thing apart, replace it with dumb shit. Like, pop that steering wheel off, get a fucking one made on a chain. Take those
so it
door
gets
locks
real
off.
hot in the sun, so you can't touch it.
At one point, you probably had 8 different options for novelty valve stem covers for your tires. It's like, what kind of man am I? Am I a dice? Am I a skull and crossbones? Playboy, little bunny head. What says the most about me?
Let me tell you about the novelty valve stem covers I bought, which were motion-activated lights called tire flies, so that when you were driving, it made a ring of light.
Oh, just almost like a siren song to bring the police to you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, why does one want their car to draw the most attention at an age when you want the least attention when you're in a car? Like, from ages 16 to 22, if I was driving at night, there was absolutely at least one crime being committed in that car. Thinking back, like, nothing good was ever happening.
Yeah, you probably got a couple of roadie beers in there with you.
Someone's carrying, at least one open container, because I have friends
Someone's
that get
got
the
a
shakes
gun for sure.
if they got to drive for more than 5 minutes without having a road dog. Like, we can see where we're going. It's 3 blocks away. Do you need to crack a beer? Like, bit of a talk about this.
You should go to meetings. I'm trying to think of other bad, or in retrospect, bad car accessories. I think I've mentioned before, owned an 8-ball for the top of my gear shifter knob.
Good call.
In my Mazda 626 from 1986.
Yep. I even knew people that took back when cars would shift on the column, take the big knob off of that and replace it with something.
Oh, sure. A
million different aftermarket car stereos, because back then the factory ones were shit. Oh my God, getting like stickers made that went across the top of your windshield, like Cutlass or fucking Too Wicked, or getting Chevy bow ties for the back window of your pickup. So much of that kind of shit. Getting a goddamn moon visor if you really had money to burn. If your high school graduation money really came flowing in, get that moon visor and a Razorback. Oh my God. The classic look in my hometown, if you're a hillbilly kid, you get the chrome toolbox for the back of the pickup and then dual whips off that. And if it was 1996 or before, you had a goddamn CB in that fucker, because cell phones were fucking science fiction at that point.
Henceforth, you need the 2 big antenna whips.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Yep. Get a brush guard get a chrome brush guard for the front.
Definitely some seat covers and a steering wheel cover.
Yeah.
Some with flames on it, something cool.
Yeah.
Something that matched the flaming dragon fake silk button downs we were all wearing.
Maybe it's just a sign of poverty, but I remember a lot of adults, like moms, having seat covers in their car, probably because the seats were just falling apart. Like, you had a lot of shoddy craftsmanship in car seats back then. Like
fuck it, throw a cover on it.
Do you remember the state of disrepair some dads or uncles' pickup seats would be? Like literal springs sticking out. You never see shit like that anymore. Like being told as a kid to watch, don't just dive in head first like you do when you're a little kid, because you could get tetanus. Watch out, we're gonna lay some fucking telephone books down so you can get in without stabbing yourself.
Got the windowsill of the driver's door that has no paint on it because they've had their arm hanging out the window for 40 years. Yeah.
God, and there's so much silly shit we're not thinking of for other things you could change out. You could burn through a paycheck as a teenager in the 90s just buying the dumbest, most pointless shit for your car.
And that's before we even have started talking about audio equipment.
Yeah. My God.
You for sure have a stereo that's worth 3 times what the car is.
I don't want to live in a world where there aren't 14-year-old boys sitting in study hall looking at a Crutchfield catalog, debating what kind of subs they should get for a fucking car that doesn't exist. Don't have a fucking driver's license or a job, but they're already planning step by step the kind of, we have 2 12-inch Rockford Fosgate woofers. Like, what?
And an Alpine amp. Yeah.
You gotta learn hygiene. You're not taking care of you. You stink. There's so many things that you are way more pressing right now.
You got a fucking biology test to study for. You don't know shit about biology.
Oh yeah, God. And I didn't have it as bad as, but fuck, man, I had fucking MTX fucking subs. I had a trunk that was the size of a backpack, but yet I took up 80% of the limited room I had with the fucking giant ass sub box, so I could have the Source's Hip Hop Hits Volume 1 blaring at ear-destroying decibels.
Yeah, earth shakers really rattle the mirrors in that bitch. I had decent Pioneer stereo decks, but never went, and Pioneer 6x9s, but never went the sub routes. The bug never bit me bad enough to give up trunk space.
I remember my dad coming into the garage, and he's probably somewhat intrigued that I was doing something to my car, because that just wasn't my style. And then
something's wrong. I better go check on the boy.
Yeah, and then he finds out, trying to explain to him what subwoofers were. It was just like, why would you want that? It's like, it's cool. Like, why is it cool? Well, I think there was not even that much thought, but it's like looking at it, looking at us, looking at it. Well, this is stupid, and just going on with this day.
Dad, it's Blaupunkt. You don't want to.
It's Blaupunkt, Cincinnati. I wish Blaupunkt had like city names for their model names. It's like I have a Blaupunkt Cedar Rapids tape deck in my car.
Really impress all your friends.
Yeah.
And then you drive the amount of gravel we did, and you fill your speaker box with gravel silt immediately, ruin everything in it.
One thing I do not miss about living out of town in a rural area is just everything covered a fine layer of dust.
Yeah. No CD player could play anything on our fucking washboardy ass gravel roads anyway, so you may as well just leave the cassette deck in.
Fuck, I forgot about that. Yeah, that shitty gravel roads had so much bounce to them, and your CD player would go nuts.
So Lisa doesn't think that this is an angel. She knocks off one of the toes and takes it to the Natural History Museum to get it tested. And I had to look up the guy who is the scientist there is a real scientist.
I figured, yeah.
Named Stephen Jay Gould, who they apparently got to be a voice actor this time. You can kind of tell when you listen to some voices on animated shows speak, you can tell that they're not voice actors.
Yeah, absolutely. You can really with him.
Yeah, and so I had to look up to see who he was. Actual scientist they got, which I think is a fun thing to do if you're The Simpsons.
Good job. Yeah. Well done.
The results come back inconclusive, so that line of reasoning isn't going to help Lisa out at all. In the meantime, all of the religious folks in town, which is pretty much the town, are super fucking into this, and like the town folks do in Springfield, they fucking mob up and they go destroy the Natural History Museum, and then they destroy a couple other science buildings, and which hit way too close to home in the COVID times of fucking idiots hating science.
Oh, yeah.
They come back, we all get back to the garage, and the angel is gone, and Lisa is arrested because they assume that she got rid of the angel because she's the non-believer. They very quickly make Lisa out to be a fucking pariah or a martyr in this episode. She is the enemy of the town, for sure.
Yeah. And she goes a little too hard in the paint with Marge. It's like, God damn it, just placate your mom. She's a nice lady. Go to church.
Yeah, like
don't be a pain.
Yeah, they're butting heads because like Marge believes in angels and Lisa doesn't, and because Marge does, Lisa thinks she's stupid, and it's like that's being a bad atheist.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can be a good atheist. That's being a bad one. We find the angel up on the hill mysteriously while Lisa's on trial, which she's 8 years old? Not how that works. And etched upon the rock at the bottom of the angel's feet is the phrase, "The end will come at sundown." So now the entire town is preparing for Armageddon, and they're all gathered around it, and the sun is setting, and they're kind of, you know, they're all freaked out. I love that Smithers just kind of goes, "Oh, fuck it," and plants one on Mr. Burns. I was like, hell yeah, Smithers. Fucking live your truth, Smithers. And then, so sundown comes, and the angel starts talking, or at least appears to be. But what this is a hoax for the grand opening of the mega mall that they had been building. We see the people that we saw earlier that allowed Lisa to dig in the first place. Turns out they planted that thing, and they're talking over a loudspeaker about come on down for 20% off everything and all this at the Heavenly Hills Mega Mall. And they have an elaborate pulley system that takes the angel down to the Mega Mall. And of course the town folks, rather than being outraged, are super into these prices, and they all bum rush the Mega Mall. And we do get a little closer with Lisa and Marge, of them both being like, whatever wholesome thing they say, and walk hand in hand into the credits.
Yep. I'm telling you, man, I like this premise because I didn't see that swerve coming of
likewise,
it being the mall, but like the laughs were just not there in this one. I was just like waiting. It's like, this is it. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this did nothing to like quiet my fears that the end of the good episodes is upon us. Like, oh, I couldn't believe. It's like, God damn it, I didn't laugh once. Like,
I think we're learning just how much I love a Lisa episode, because even though the laughs were not there, I really liked this episode a lot.
Oh yeah, I was not. Yeah. Ugh.
I got a good chuckle when Lisa is going to go destroy the angel. She takes Bart's blue crowbar out of the umbrella stand, which A, I love that Bart has his own crowbar, and that B, uses it so often that it's just in the umbrella stand.
Conveniently located for when he leaves the house.
And she's like, Bart, I'm stealing your blue crowbar to go destroy this angel. And Bart just goes, old Bluey. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, I dug this one. I also didn't know where the fuck this episode was going.
Yeah, I like that premise. Like the plot was good.
Until the very end.
So we're now up to episode 10, Reality Bites. Realty Bites. Oh, I see it now. Look at that, Simpsons writers. I gotta keep both eyes on you.
Maybe all of the great material this season is just going over your head, bud.
I think that's horseshit. I think TV critics will stand side by side with me. I got a question. Was it this episode or was it the Lisa the Skeptic episode that had the steam room couch gag, which I had not seen before?
Oh, I don't remember which was which. I remember that gag, but I enjoyed. I don't remember which episode it was from.
I'm pretty sure that was new, right?
Yeah, I think all of the couch gags in this
it seems
batch
like,
were new.
Man, is that where they're putting their creative energies, the couch gags? What's your stand on like saunas and steam room? You like getting a good sweat going?
I really like a sauna. I so rarely get to experience one because like I don't just go have a spa day, and I haven't stayed at a hotel that has a sauna probably since fucking high school. Yeah. But I do enjoy the process of it. Just sitting there in a towel, sweating it all out. Yeah. Also, pro tip, life hack, if you want to get fucking drunk in a hurry, drink in a sauna, because all your blood vessels open up, and it's like drinking in a hot tub or at high altitude. You can get real shithoused on just a little bit.
That sounds like a good way to die young. I bet there's a lot of like 1950s comedians that died that way in Vegas.
Oh God,
I'm gonna live forever. They found dead in a hot tub with a bottle of champagne.
Yeah. Oh, he had 4 beers and he expired. Oh no! So in that spirit, don't do that. There we go. There's a disclaimer that you should absolutely not be drinking in a sauna. Don't do that.
Bring down the America's Barley Basket empire with your fast and loose. When I was like 19, lived in Tennessee, and I got a gym membership, and they had a sweat, and I never knew how these things work, and I fell head over heels over getting a good sweat on, and one time I fell asleep in a sauna.
And, that seems bad.
But even better, I fell asleep reading the Sunday Funnies, because it was in a free newspaper to peruse, and it sweated into my gut and tits, so I had Beetle Bailey. It was like silly putty. You push the imprint. So I looked like one of the dancers from fucking Laughing that had let themselves go. like colorful notes all over my body.
I got a reverse Garfield over my right tit.
And another amazing tidbit of this time of my life, looking back, I am pretty sure a middle-aged married woman was very shyly trying to seduce me, but I wasn't picking up on it. Like, she would really, like, you could just tell she was very shy, and she'd uncomfortably try to talk to me. And, like, I was polite. She was attractive, but I didn't know what was going on. Hi, nice mom lady. Like, and, like,
I made a new friend.
Yeah, at one time she came into the sauna with me, and she sat weirdly close to me, and I just enough to perk my very faulty radar. Like, hey, what's going on here? But then she just, like, weirdly talked under her breath, so she was either really into me or schizophrenic. I wasn't sure which was going on, but...
Hey, she can be both.
Yeah,
those aren't mutually exclusive. She
age,
can be both.
She could have had a dalliance with cannibalism, and I wouldn't have said no.
I love that you and I apparently both have the same faulty radar of like...
They're making fun of me. That's what that radar usually says. This is some kind of prank or some kind of some kind of female jackass type show.
Where's the camera?
Yeah.
I'm not falling for this. Yeah. You could smash me in the face with a weight plate that has "I wanna fuck you" imprinted on it to where it leaves the pattern in my face like a cartoon, and I'd be like, she wants to be buds.
Likely story. I'm not falling for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sad.
Oh, boy.
So,
kind of thing that makes you want to drink in a sauna.
Yeah. Or disembowel yourself with dried fruit. So, Realty Bites. Marge is fed up with never doing anything. She's cooped up in that house all the time. She wants to go out and have a night out. Homer remedies this by taking her on a date to the police impound auction.
I was so excited to see a police auction because I thought of you immediately. I don't doubt that you've been to a police auction.
Have I? That's what my note says. Marlin, this is probably very hard for you to imagine, but I love me a good police auction.
I can't imagine.
I love it all. I love
shocked.
Yard sales. I love any kind of auction. I love an estate sale because there's a spooky vibe. Like, I've had to have talked about the time I bought haunted sweatpants from a man that was hours dead, and I'm buying his athletic wear.
Holy shit,
yeah.
What?
Like,
I gotta hear this story.
As a husky man yourself, you know you don't often find secondhand clothing in your size. It's tough to be vintage when you're the size of, like, farm implement. Like, they don't make, because back then they just sent 3XL men out into the woods. Like, they just shunned them. But I was like, holy shit, look at this. It's like nice Reebok sweats, and like it's like for like $3 still in the packaging. Like, and then I was like, oh, there's another pair for $1 out of the packaging. Tell you what, Marlon, I bought those pants. And then it dawned on me. And then, like, they were discussing, it was like this beloved employee of, like, the local college who died young because he was gigantic. That's what we do. And I'm buying it, and the lady looks at me, and she's like, you know, we got a bunch of his underwear we'll pretty much just give away.
Oh, no.
You know, you need to really take a good look in the mirror of a stranger gives you the up and down and just surmises, hey, I bet this fucking bum will buy dead men's underwear. It's like, he's got that grave robbing vibe. To save $1, he will wear the undies of the dead.
He's built just like the guy who died, and so which means he's got 8 to 10 left. He could probably use some drawers.
He can stand to have a little comfort in his remaining years. I was like 31 at the time. Do you need help getting around? What?
So you're just raiding this old man's grave, practically. You're just a pear-shaped Lara Croft. Yeah.
Fruit of the Loom Raider.
Holy shit.
I don't know, maybe take a couple seconds there. I'm doing a curtsy right now. Thank you, Internet. Thank you. I'm here every Tuesday at America's Barley Basket.
Holy
now
shit.
on YouTube.
That's why you're right to follow you're right to follow those comedy dreams, Nathan. If you're coming up with Fruit of the Loom Raider.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna sit on my laurels for the rest of this podcast. Do some house cleaning. If you want to do the next 4.5 episodes.
Yeah, you've earned it, Nathan. Take the rest of the day off.
So at these police auction, Homer ends up bidding on the Little Bandit, which appears to be like a late 60s Firebird Trans Am with it has a cobra holding a pistol on the door, which is so great.
And the phrase Lil Bandit on the door as well. So
wonderful. And
have you ever, first off, did you buy those underwear?
No,
we didn't resolve that part of your story.
I think if they would have been in front of me and they were like in the packaging, I would have. But man, I am a dirt dog, as it's been made very clear at the time we've done this podcast. But I can't roll with used underwear, man. As cheap as
I'm in the same boat.
That is a fucking road I can't fucking go down.
Secondly, have you ever bought anything at any of these police auctions that you're always going to? I've always wanted to go to one and never have because I've seen Blues Brothers too many times, and I think it would be cool to have a cop car. Yeah.
The one thing that sucks about impound auctions is like 80% of the cars don't have keys. So you got to go through that fucking headache.
Of getting a new locks and ignition or whatever.
And I'm sure trying to get it registered is a pain in the ass. I'm sure it's just everything's a pain in the ass. I'm trying to think. I once bought a shotgun and a bunch of silver dollars at an auction. I'm trying to think if that was like a impound. It was very shady. There's very depressed men in there. No smiles at that auction. No nice grandmas serving sloppy joes from a food truck.
Good to see we're back to being Americans again this week. Yeah, just bought a shotgun down the street at an auction sale.
I went there it had to have been a non-police auction. I went there to buy silver dollars for my dad, and there was a shotgun that just went for way too good a price in my head, at least, and I just bought it. Just insane.
Yeah.
Just for laughs, I bought a device I could annihilate a family with.
Yeah. We could impulse buy a firearm.
I don't even know where that shotgun is.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure it got sold at some point. I'm a wheeler dealer, but I have no clue where that thing's at right now.
Some Craigslist sale that you met somebody in a fucking truck stop parking lot.
Troubled loner. God, I've bought a lot of stuff in truck stop parking lots. That time I bought that phone from a guy that had a shoebox full of phones. What do you have so many broken phones for, boy. Man? Oh, yeah. I need to start changing these stories so I don't get implicated in a crime. Bought a lot of stolen merch in my day.
Holy shit.
So Homer now owns a Little Bandit, which is great. Marge refuses to ride with him and ends up walking, and she runs into Lionel Hutz, who is now a realtor instead of in the law field. And Marge is intrigued by the idea of real estate, so she studies to take her test, which I thought that was a kind of a cute scene where the kids help her study for her realtor's license, that song they think of and everything.
To help her remember all the stuff, yeah. I like Homer's bit of whatever the opposite of inspiration is. He says, trying is the first step towards failure, which I really got a chuckle at.
And despite how shitty Homer is, she passes it. She comes home, and the kids all celebrate, and she thanks the kids. And then Homer's like, why don't you thank me? She's like, well, you did nothing. Oh, Bart scolds. You didn't do anything. It's like, I like to be thanked. Such a fucking bum.
I liked that a lot. I like to be thanked.
So Marge is now a part of Red Blazer Realty that Lionel is somehow in charge of. And she gets to look at all of her coworkers, her fellow realtors, and it has a real Glengarry Glen Ross vibe, which I fucking love. Because poor Gil, the machine Levine,
He's totally Jack Lemmon.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
from
just a
Glengarry
sad
Glen
sack.
Ross.
He wants those Glengarry leads. He wants them real bad, but he ain't gonna get them because giving them to Gil would be like throwing them away, Marlin.
The leads are shit. You're shit.
The next day in bed, she brought me a cafe au lait and a cigarette. My balls feel like concrete.
Fuck, that movie's so fucking good.
Fucking good, dude. The
First
rule of
prize is a new
sales.
Cadillac.
You never live a day in your life. You don't open your mouth until you know the lead. God, that fucking movie's so fucking good.
You know what it takes? Clang. Big brass balls.
You make one big sale, this place smells like a fart for a week. What a humanitarian you are. Is this your farewell speech? Your farewell to the troops?
That's a decent Pacino you got there.
I'd prefer if you called me Ricky Roma for the rest of today, if you could.
Absolutely not. No. You just talked about almost buying Dead Man's used underwear. You are not Ricky Roma.
Hey, I'm out there. I'm pushing. I'm getting them to sign on the line that is dotted. You owe me a Cadillac. You fucking company man. I don't know whose nephew you are. I don't know whose dick you're sucking. But I'm going to Mitchell Murray. I'm going to Larkin. I'm going to get you a job, asshole.
Oh, Christ. Holy shit.
Yeah, so watch Glengarry Glen Ross if you haven't.
Yeah, if you haven't, absolutely rectify that. That movie's so fucking good.
Yeah, oh man.
Top 10.
Yeah. So Marge is in the cutthroat world of real estate, and she's trying to sell some houses, but all the houses are shit. And Marge is an angel lady, so she refuses to lie about these houses. She tells them the truth. Hey, this house is too big. Hey, this house is dilapidated. And then
she keeps talking herself out of sales.
And so she's told by Lionel, hey, make a fucking sale or you're going to lose your position with the firm. And she thinks about trying to sell what's known as the murder house, which is awesome. Would you buy a house that had...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. I know that someone had been murdered in. Sorry, I stepped on that.
Or, no, but yeah,
yes.
you read my mind. Or a house that's supposedly haunted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, ghosts aren't real.
Yeah, that's my whole thing. But the whole thing, I don't want to find out they are if I have a 30-year lease, but there are some states that shit legally has to be shared, which is insanity to me. But yeah,
I think most states you have to disclose if there was a crime in the house. But yeah, there's some states have those clauses where you have to tell them if there's been paranormal shit reported there.
There could be, 40 people could have been murdered and consumed by a maniac 6 months before I buy the house. If they've cleaned it all up, there's no more, teeth or toe bones anywhere. Fuck it, fine, whatever.
I might pretend to be afraid of ghosts to see if I can get the price down a little.
Do some
just so you know,
Shaggy from Scooby-Doo shit. Yeah, jump in the realtor's arms.
Just so you
ghosts. Let's get out of here, Scooby.
Just so you know, there have been reports of hauntings, and then just ghosts.
You're peering over the front shrubs. Is it safe to come in?
You'd have to knock probably $5,000 off this asking price for me to live with a ghost.
You're running in circles around the couch.
I'm up and down the halls, going in one door but coming out a different one while wacky music plays. Yeah. I'm yanking on the realtor's head, trying to get her mask off.
And then once you get winded, it's like, I'll take the house. I'll do it. Yeah,
absolutely. You should call an ambulance
this is
right now.
It's a good neighborhood. I really like that.
Yeah.
Attached garage is nice for the winter.
Very nice, yeah. I mean, I'm going to have to do some work in the kitchen, but it's fine.
Yeah, so it's all cosmetic. I can do it myself.
Sell me this house. Show me the papers. Yep.
And kind of the B story is Snake witnessed his car being sold to Homer, and he is full of vengeance. He wants that car back, even if it involves killing Homer, because he don't give a fuck. Little Bandit's his, and he wants it back.
Yeah.
But so Marge is now trying to sell the murder house to get that big commish, and she convinces...
And not get fired.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she convinces the Flanderses to move into the house.
Yep, by just not telling them that it was a murder house.
Yep. And she is...
Oh my God. That entire sequence of Ned constantly being about to give her a check.
Yep.
Like with no pressure or anything, and he doesn't try to hardball or anything.
Yeah.
Like they show him in that tiny fucking kitchen, and Marge is like trying out her new lying skills. She's just like, it's not small, it's cozy. And Ned immediately
right.
reached in the pocket. Holy shit. I thought that was funny.
We do get to hear Ned's high-pitched scream, which I always enjoy. And
yeah, because he's delighted at the purple curtains.
and Marge makes the sale, and she goes back to the realtor office, and they celebrate that she sold the murder house. And as part of her compensation, she gets an extra wall on her cubicle. They take one of Gil's walls.
Yeah. And just like shakes it so all the stuff that was hanging on it
family
comes
pictures.
off.
He's like, but I brought this wall from home. Man, how hard would it be for you to go back to a cubicle job?
I've never had a cubicle job, but
neither.
it would be pretty hard.
Oh, no kidding.
I had a job that was essentially a cubicle job without the cubicles because it was like an open floor plan, which I fucking hated. Where it's just like everyone has their own little workstation, but it's in a big open room,
I'd
so
rather
you
have a
can
cubicle,
constantly
yeah.
hear. Yeah, you can constantly hear everyone else talking.
Like, oh my God,
sucks.
You can hear Denise flossing. That's a sign you're not flossing enough, Denise. You shouldn't have to struggle that much.
Right. You shouldn't. You're in danger of straining something. Then you should floss more.
She's got one end of it tied to a radiator so she can grab the other end with both hands.
Really bear down on it. Jesus, do you just have one tooth? Yeah. One elongated tooth?
What's going on here, Denise? So Marge has made the sale, but of course her moral compass does not like this. She's very torn at the idea, and she goes to visit them and has to let them know that it's the murder house, which they're kind of cool with. Like, we knew all about it.
Totally fine. They kind of Maud is like kind of impressed that they're now part of Springfield history because they live in the house where all those people were murdered.
Yep. And while this whole scene's going on, Homer is fighting for his life because Snake has gotten out. We get some pretty high stakes car fight action. They're on the hood. They are all over the place. There are knives involved. And Chief Wiggum is on patrol, getting a good cat nap in his patrol car, and
chases them because they woke him up.
He's just pissed that they woke him up from a deep REM sleep.
Yep.
So there's now a police chase, and right when Marge and the Flanderses have come to an agreement that, hey, there's nobody that's really wrong here. You sold us a house that we like, blah, blah, blah. Little Bandit plows through the house at an obscene speed, followed quickly by Chief Wiggum's squad car. That house is demolished to the foundation.
Immediately. It just implodes.
And I like how Wiggum and Homer are no worse for wear. Meanwhile, poor Snake is in a world of hurt.
Yeah, not doing well. Yeah. And Flanders takes back that deposit check and tears it up.
And Marge is out of the real estate business. But she does get in on the unemployment business, and they're in the unemployment office. There's a few good gags of the people you see in the crowd, but then a boring fucking gag. George Bush is there. It's like, God damn it. Such a tired,
I was like, don't remind me of that,
such a tired bit. Like, oh, I get it. Oh man, we're sticking it to George Bush. Like, are you? Is that what you're doing? God damn it, Simpsons. I enjoyed this one maybe slightly more than Lisa the Skeptic, but it still feels like, oh man.
Oh man, there ain't no making you happy. This episode was fucking funny.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just the laughs weren't there for it. But yeah, I mean, it's better. We're on an upward trajectory, I think.
I really loved in that sequence where they show Marge like showing everybody houses and then talking them out of buying them by being too honest. I love that at one point she's showing a house to Sideshow Mel and his wife, or I guess who's you presume to be Sideshow Mel's wife. And I love the little detail that Sideshow Mel's wife is a smoke show.
Yeah, good point.
Like, that Sideshow Mel is just married to this fucking banger. Like, I thought that was a very funny gag.
He's in the entertainment industry. He's a beloved icon.
Episode 11 is Miracle on Evergreen Terrace, the rare Simpsons Christmas episode. Not often do we get a Christmas one. I think we've only had two. That very first one, and then the one where Bart shoplifts.
Oh, I had no idea that these were that rare. I was like, you could have told me they do one every season and I would have bought it.
Ah, yes, it's time for the annual Simpsons Christmas special. And you just, yep, here it is.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it. Ho, ho, ho.
I really like the sight gag that we get pretty early on of the kids watching a fireplace on TV, and the TV is in front of their actual fireplace.
Yep.
You ever had a place with a fireplace in it?
My home, the house that I briefly owned for a few years in Fargo did. I never once used it.
That was my follow-up question.
But growing up, we burnt a ton of wood, though, thinking back. But we didn't have a fireplace. We just had a wood stove. It was not aesthetic. It was strictly for heating the home. Like,
yep. I grew up in a house that was heated with a coal furnace, so I get it.
Yeah, like it was just in our entryway, and I mean, I like the feeling of a fire. Like, it feels good. I don't know. It's one of those things it's hard to put into words, but there's something about like a good wood burning heat.
I like it in the outdoors in the summer when you're sitting around a fire with your friends drinking beers. But like a fireplace indoors, I'm never hot. Like, I run so hot that I often want it cooler, and so a fireplace, not really for me, I don't think.
Oh, see, I do like, I like it, but I learned when I owned one, I don't like it enough to have to put up with the hassle of it. Like, ashes are a fucking mess. Especially when you got carpet everywhere. It's just, Jesus, this is not a good setup.
It's like that Bill Burr bit about boats. Like, you don't want a boat. You want a friend with a boat.
Yep. Damn,
so that
right.
you can still enjoy it and not have to deal with the bullshit.
Because you're trying to own a boat in a major city. What a nightmare. Where are you going to keep it?
And trying to drag it around the city. Like, no thanks.
Yeah. I bet owning a boat would bring back some flashbacks to my inability to back up a trailer. For those who've never backed up a trailer, it defies all laws of physics. It's like, what? Okay, so you want to go right? Well, you're going to turn your wheel left, but not all the way left, because eventually you're going to hit some kind of weird opposite world zone where you got to turn it the right way again, apparently. I don't know.
I am, I'm sure, severely out of practice, but growing up pulling equipment with every piece of vehicle that you were ever on used to be pretty good at it. But I bet I have lost most of my ability to back up a trailer.
Mm-hmm. Like, I used to be really good at backing things up with just using my mirrors. That's a skill that gets rusty if you don't use it much.
Now you're throwing an arm over the passenger seat to look over your shoulder. Yeah,
like, I'm sure you at some point had to back in a truck into a dark Quonset, so all of a sudden you have no light. It's like, boy, I'm driving by feel, and I don't ever remember them discussing that in driver's education.
I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah. Let's hope whatever you hit isn't important.
And I'm spoiled by my car, which has a backup camera. The next vehicle I drive without one of those, I am definitely backing into something.
Yeah.
I can only hope it's an old building or a well-established tree and not a 9-year-old on a bicycle.
My car has just this, like, the sensor, the beeper, and it went out. I had some transmission work done, and whatever they did, they didn't hook it up right, so it doesn't work. And I mentioned that to my old man. I was like, hey, should I, I think I might get this fixed. Like, why would you bother? I'm like, what do you mean? It's a lifesaver. He's like, what? What do you need that? I was like, you live in a town so small, you parallel park once a decade. Like, you do it for fun, just to see if you remember. Like, it is an hourly event if you drive in a major city. Like, and it's clocks ticking parallel parking. Like, you have 4 seconds to complete it before an onslaught of traffic plows into you.
And if he had it for an afternoon, he would never live without it again. So
it is pretty sweet.
That's fucking dad logic. I don't need this amazing thing, but if they ever had it, they would kill to keep it.
What do you mean forks? Just stab it hard with the spoon.
What are you doing? Oh, this fork thing's pretty handy.
I think it's going to catch on.
I'll be damned. So the family is going to get up in the morning and do the Christmas morning thing. We see the tree, the plastic tree, with gifts underneath it, and the family's going to get up at around 7 tomorrow, and they essentially beg Bart to not ruin Christmas by getting up early and getting his gifts.
I like how Marge confiscates everyone's alarm clocks, which was a good scene. And do you still own an actual alarm clock?
Yeah, I do.
Do you really?
I couldn't tell you the last time I actually used the alarm function on it.
Yeah,
but
I was thinking, like, it's weird to think I had an alarm clock for, better part of 20 years. I had the same one when I was like 15 that I did when I was 35. And eventually I was like, why are you still fucking with this? Because if the power goes out, you're screwed.
I used to, for a long time, have the classic wind alarm clock with the 2 bells on top and the clacker that goes between. I lived that life for a good long while.
No shit. I'm sure your neighbors loved it.
But at this point, my alarm clock is my phone and has been for the past 10 fucking years probably. Yeah. So, like, my alarm clock I bought way back when, and it has a dock to put my phone onto, so you can play your music through the dock rather than just listening through your tinny ass phone speaker. Yeah. And I don't use that anymore either, because in order to put it on there, I would have to take my phone case off, and I'm not fucking living that life either.
Oh, yeah.
So it's basically just a clock. I have a clock on my nightstand.
It's a paperweight.
It's for waking up in the middle of the night and being like, oh, what fucking time is it? And I don't want to reach at my phone, so I'll squint at the nightstand.
Now that you say that, I wouldn't mind having that option. Yeah, maybe turn this into a PSA for alarm clocks. Like, you don't have to grab your phone and tap the screen to see what time it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can just squint real hard, because without my glasses or contacts, I'm blind as a bat.
Yep.
So.
Oh, God. Preaching to the choir there. Oh, boy.
Oh, right. You and all your fucking early onset ocular degeneration.
Also the name of my favorite industrial metal band.
So I'm open for Rammstein in 98. They're fantastic.
They did a split 7-inch stabbing westward.
Good pull on the stabbing westward.
Oh, good times.
Bart is trying to set his own alarm clock by just slamming a bunch of water the night before so that he will get up early in the morning. Decent plan, honestly.
Yeah, I thought so too. It makes sense.
And then I thought that they were going down the road of him going to wet the bed, because he has that long dream sequence where he's floating down a raft or down a river on a raft while water is everywhere, like sprinklers and firemen with fire hoses. So I thought that's where they were going, but nope, he just wakes up at like shortly after 5 a.m. and hurriedly heads to the bathroom and then goes downstairs. Opening his, my exact note is, Bart opening presents early like an asshole.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Do you remember being like a kid and just like literally lusting for the presents under the tree? Just like staring at them and trying to like use your brain to unwrap? Like, oh God damn it, I got this. I know I can do it. What could be in that box?
Holding your like fingertips up to your temple like Magneto, just thinking, if I just think hard enough, I can figure this out.
One of the times my mom was probably most mad at me was it was a birthday present, and I just wouldn't quit fiddling with it and asking if I could open it early. And she just had a bad day or what, but she, like, the day before my birthday, she's like, fine, you want to open it? Open it. I open it. You know what it was, Marlin? A clock radio.
Oh boy.
It goes full circle. It's like, oh yeah, I remember really wanting a clock. If you gave a clock radio to a 9-year-old for his birthday, they would start fucking crying. He'd be sad. Like, why are you mad at me? What did I do to get this?
What did I do?
This heavy thing. I don't like heavy things.
And it's immediately associated with getting up for school. I hate this.
Yeah. Because at that point, I was too young to ask for like a tape, like a stereo or like a boom box. So what I had is I wanted a clock radio because I had at a rummage sale, I'd purchased like an industrial cassette recorder, like the kind they use to record a crime victim's statement, like a heavy black, had a handle on it and just a cassette went in and that's all it was for. So I was using
Did
that.
it have those real good Kerchunk buttons when you really
and
pushed
you
it down?
Thumbs because your child fingers didn't have it in them to push it down. I would
two-handing it.
So I would play my FM station on my clock radio and hold that giant mechanical cassette recorder device up to my clock radio and make my own mixtapes that way.
Fuck yeah.
Holy shit.
So Bart gets into his Christmas presents early, and one of his gifts is this little remote control fire engine, and he's driving it around and ironically sets it on fire, crashes it into the tree, starts the tree on fire, and it's a plastic tree, so it just melts into this fucking disc, into this hard plastic puck.
It reminded me of when in the end of Terminator 2, when the Terminator has to fling himself into the liquid hot magma. He just melts down. Yep. Like there's no explosion. It just melts down into itself.
And all the rest of the gifts are destroyed or at the very least encased in this Christmas tree disc.
Yeah.
And he's panicking. He rolls it out into the yard and covers it with snow to bury the evidence, not knowing apparently how snow works. Yeah. And then, so the family comes down and they're all distraught because what happened to our tree and our gifts? And Bart, who again is a little asshole throughout this entire episode, tells them that he was up earlier and saw a burglar come in and take everything, including the tree.
And he sells it, to his credit. He sells it, gets the waterworks going.
Yeah, doing some fake kid crying and shit. Bart is awful in this whole episode. They decide that they're like not gonna let this get them down and they're gonna have a good Christmas anyway, but then throughout the next several minutes they're just bombarded by how great everyone else's Christmas is.
Yeah.
Like they decide that they're gonna go down to the old folks home and lift their spirits because those people will certainly be miserable. We'll be the happiest people there. On the way, they get surrounded by the Hibbert family, who apparently all got their own snowmobiles.
Yeah. Or Ned on that unicycle as the family cheers him on was so great.
Yeah. Everyone's having a great Christmas.
You know how expensive it would be to buy everyone in your family a new snowmobile for Christmas?
No shit. Well, I mean, Dr. Hibbert's a doctor.
Yep, good point. Very good point.
I don't know what Mrs. Hibbert does, but he's a doctor.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a snowmobile. Milhouse comes running out to show Bart his amazing new Krusty the Clown doll, and Homer smokes him in the face with a snowball, which I really liked.
It was a Tickle Me Krusty.
Yeah, there you go. Tickle Me Krusty.
Which at the time this episode came out was really on point, because this was right around the Tickle Me Elmo phenomenon.
Yeah, I didn't have one, and I didn't know anyone else who did. I was too old for Tickle Me Elmo at that point.
Yeah, missed out by a few years.
Boy, do I really remember the hubbub.
See, are you two probably just old enough that Furbies weren't a Christmas phenomenon for you?
No, Furbies weren't a thing either. I think by the time Furbies happened, I was too old for that also. I was like, that's dumb. Who wants that?
I'm the right age. I never had one. It was for boys and girls, but more for girls. I'm the perfect age for the first big phenomenon that I can think of was the fucking fist fights over Cabbage Patch dolls in the early mid 80s. Like there's footage of that. That is gnarly. Like moms belly to back suplexing each other to get them out of the Cabbage Patch line.
Like I was born in 85. I don't even know what the hard to find hot Christmas toys of my youth would have been.
I can't think of. It just seems like everything now that's that way, it's a video game thing. I don't know. It's just not as fun.
Or a video game console. Those are often the things that are hard to find.
Nintendo things are always impossible to find,
Yeah.
I can't. There are other ones. I'm just not thinking of what the hot gift was. But I think Cabbage Patch Kids were the big cultural phenomenon. And then probably not even approached until the Tickle Me Elmo phenomenon.
Do you have a favorite Christmas gift you got as a kid that you still remember so fondly to this day?
I have one. I'm too young to really remember the details, but there's picture evidence of me. I got Castle Grayskull for Christmas. And there are pictures of me.
Pretty great.
By, 4 years old in Knight Rider pajamas, which is awesome. Knight Rider jammies. And I am looking into the camera. I am either having the best moment of my life or they have photographed me being kidnapped because I am red, beet red, tears. And I'm screaming. I'm screaming either in rage or ecstasy. I couldn't wrap my fucking brain around getting Castle Grayskull. And then when I got my NES. Yeah, exactly. I have some very good present memories. Because in my head, when I found out that a Nintendo cost $100, I was like, well, we're never getting one. My parents have never seen in my head, $100 meant you had wealth beyond compare.
Probably got a finished basement if you know what $100 is.
Yeah. You have a car that's not gigantic. I remember my mom, not a creative sort when it came to holidays or stuff like that, but she did a good job of playing possum by just kind of, they're just too expensive. And she had the Nintendo without a name on it wrapped in the back of the toys and the back of the present. I just assumed it was something for dad or grandma, some boring adult shit. And then the Nintendo came out and me and my brother collectively lost our fucking minds.
For me, it was the, again, I don't know how old I was, but the Sony Talkboy.
Oh, shit. One of my buddy's younger brothers got one of those, and it was, I thought it was cool as shit.
If you remember from Home Alone 2, the little handheld cassette player with a built-in microphone and record function is still to this day the raddest shit of all time. Yeah, I bet I annoyed the fuck out of every extended family member that Christmas by shoving that microphone in their face, asking them to talk.
I am picturing, it's now 2 months past Christmas. We are in the middle of a brutal February on the North Dakota plains, and you are just excitedly playing animal noises to your parents at the kitchen table, just over and over again, just animals bleeding in pain. Look at the noise Biscuits made. The wind is just whipping through the thin walls.
or just walking
dark at 3 p.m. You just a big dopey grin.
Trying to record my own versions of the cow says and then the cow sound.
Yeah. That's when we learn to despise Marlin's smile.
We should have never bought him that fucking tape recorder. I was knowing me, I was walking around like recording my 9 or 10-year-old thoughts for posterity's sake. There's probably somewhere in the old farmhouse, there's cassette after cassette of me recording some deep shit.
like a 8-year-old Werner Herzog.
The search for Rocksteady's missing hand continues. Is nothing real? What god would allow this?
Oh boy.
Bebop continues to feign ignorance, but I suspect he knows
more than his tiny slotted sunglasses can reveal. There is something coming up, which is my first legit hard laugh out loud in quite a while. It's when Kent Brockman stops and does that news piece, and like he's something like, no whatever toy, no fire engine for little Bard, no whatever for little Lisa, and no Cajun sausage for little Homer.
Which is very much a dad gift.
Yeah,
I thought that
God,
was funny.
that made me laugh.
I like, so they're headed to the old folks home because they're going to be the chipper ones amongst all these miserable old people. But they get there and there's music playing and everyone's dancing. They're like, what the fuck? And it's Abe Simpson is like, yeah, a pharmaceutical rep came by, gave us a bunch of stuff, and they're all flying high on Christmas.
Well, good for them.
The neighbors come together and all buy, like, they pitch in and give the Simpsons a ton of money and gifts. And it's at this point where we really start to see Bart squirm. They've all, like, taken up a collection for the Simpsons, and it's something like $15,000 they pool together for the Simpsons after that Kent Brockman story runs of can you believe a family was burgled on Christmas morning? And they show these two fucking Oliver Twist-esque orphans. Oh. Patches is the name of one of them. I forget the other. But like
vitamin money.
They come together and give Bart our dollar as they put like their one raggedy torn dollar they give to Bart.
So this is definitely a Bart is a shithead episode, but one thing that at least Bart is like remorseful, and that makes it easier for, like, there were some very early like season 2 episodes where Bart like doubles down on his shittiness,
like
he
the
acts like he's the victim.
One.
Yeah, it's like fuck. Like at least now Bart it's easier to relate with him because it's like, oh yeah, he knows he fucked up and he's trying to find a way out, but it's just getting worse and worse. Yeah.
Yeah. The Simpsons go treat themselves. They buy a new car and immediately wreck it. We get a quick shot of Barney in his Plow King plow, which we haven't seen since that episode, which was cool. But Homer spins out and everyone has to bail out of the car, and it slides out onto a lake and falls through the ice and explodes.
I'm going to say something. Anytime you're involved in an automobile incident where bailing out is the prudent move, really think twice, because rarely is it.
Yeah. Things got to
stay in that car.
Things got to be a whole different level of fucked for bailing out of a moving vehicle to be the right choice.
I had a short-lived truck driving job in the mountains of Montana, and on my first day at work, the guy told me about a story where his air brakes went out, and he was careening down a mountainside, and he had one foot on the running board, the other foot inside the cab, holding the door with his left hand and his steering wheel with his right, as he was ready to bail and let that thing fly off a fucking cliff.
Jesus Christ.
And then it leveled out and, kept her on the road. It's like, we're here to talk about it today. Like,
how do you go about the rest of your day like that?
Yeah.
How do you just sit back in that seat like, all right, well, got to get to Tallahassee or wherever he's going?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a name for it, but have you ever driven much in the mountains? They have those like truck runoffs for runaway trucks in the mountains.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah,
maybe it's just called a truck. It's just like a foot deep of loose gravel to help slow them down and get them off the interstate. I've always said there needs to be a registration, like a wedding registration type book at the end of it, so you can jump out of that fucking truck and write down what's ever going through your mind at that time, because that would make a hell of a read. How many Y's would be at the end of that? Holy shit. You ain't going to believe what just happened, old. I'm trying to think of a trucker name.
Leroy,
because it was a hell of a scene.
I should not have had all those apricots earlier.
There I am, mixing half a bottle of codeine-infused cough syrup into a 20-ounce surge. Dim bulb, my swamper was sleeping in the back. Meanwhile, we hadn't checked the lines to the air brakes, because apparently they had rotted out.
I got 48 head of screaming cattle behind me.
I'm going down the International Divide. 15 miles on an 18% grade. It ain't good.
Oh shit! Yeah, I've seen those runaway ramps before, and
yeah, that's something you want to live a long, healthy life of trucking without ever having to use. I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's like the gun under your pillow. Christ, I hope I don't have to use this ever. But I'm glad it's here.
No.
Bart comes clean to his folks about what happened, just as Kent Brockman is there to do a follow-up story, and the family all puts on these fake smiles because they don't want to tell people what has happened. But the lighting rig that the news crew has brought with melts the snow and reveals the plastic disc full of melted presents to Brockman and therefore everyone watching at home. And the town hates the Simpson family a whole bunch.
Yeah, we got a Christmas mob. I like when our mobs are themed.
Yep, a nice festive Christmas mob. The town really hates the Simpsons. They are full-on pariahs. Marge, in order to pay back the community, goes on Jeopardy. And we get a delightful little guest appearance from Alex Trebek. Fucking
R.I.P.
Pour one out for a real one. And he, I love that Marge loses. She's negative $5,200. And then at the end of the show, Trebek comes to collect. Like, I thought you understood the rules of the game, Marge. They take off.
Yeah, that was good with his goons. They're not getting a version of the home game.
and then this episode just like fizzles past the finish line because the Simpsons get home and the mob is there and they have made things right by ransacking the Simpson house.
Yeah. And I mean ransack. Like, what kind of sick freak steals another family's framed photos? Like,
I had the same
no
thought.
Value to that.
Yeah, you took the family photos off the wall. They have stolen everything out of the Simpson household. And then the family is just like, well, and then the episode ends. Like, that's it. It just ends with, like, them dancing in the living room, some musical number, and then that's the end of it. Such a weird ending to what I thought was a pretty funny episode.
Yeah, in my notes it said this episode is enjoyable, and I'm like, I will take enjoyable. Like, yeah, is it kind of like an old-timey Christmas song starts playing?
Yeah,
I thought that was a nice touch. I didn't recognize it, but like, yeah.
Yeah, neither did I, and I didn't bother looking up what it was. But yeah, just some old-time Christmas song starts playing, and the family's like running around the living room and credits.
Oh, the only thing they didn't steal was one wash rag, and they're fighting over the wash rag. That kind of turns into a game.
That's
they
what
chase
it is.
Marge with the wash rag. Yeah. Do you still own wash rags?
Yeah, I own a few for the kitchen.
But I mean for bathroom use.
Oh, yep, I have a couple there too.
See, I find, like, as a kid, there was always a wash rag in the tub. I haven't owned a wash rag in years.
I haven't used a wash rag in years, but I own them. They hang in the bathroom. They're more decorative than anything, I guess, now that I think about it.
That. If you want to reach out to America's Brother Basket, tell us your thoughts on the bathroom usage of wash rags. Are you pro or anti wash rag usage?
Like, I'm pro wash rag, but like I've long since moved on to loofahs, I guess.
See, I'm not a loofah man. I've never there was sometimes one at my parents' house. I'm a bar of soap, suds it up in my hands real good, and just clean my unmentionables that way.
Oh, see, if I were a bar of soap man, I would be a washcloth man. Because I can't imagine just bar of soap, just raw dog in a bar of soap. Like, you got to get that soap on a cloth and froth it up, my man.
See, I just rub it in between my hands, get that good froth built up, put this bar of soap aside, and then I get down in there and dig.
Oh, nah, man. You fucking rub that soap on a washcloth and really get in there. Get some scrubbing bubbles up in your taint.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, maybe I'm missing out. I was just, I don't know, because the idea of just a wash rag just sitting and air drying in a bathroom, I don't know, man. Like, fun and unappetizing, but hey, maybe I'm missing out.
You really gotta wring that boy out. Really get all the crusties out of there before you sling it up over the shower head.
Hold it up in that shower head for a good minute before you shut down the shower.
Yeah, exactly. Really get every last drop out of that thing before you hang it up.
So I enjoyed that episode. That's my favorite of the last several, I would say.
It's I think it's number 2 so far to the last one, to the realty one. I liked that one a lot though. So
our next episode is all singing and all dancing, or all singing, all dancing. There's no "and" in there, so for those
stop
completists,
editorializing.
For the pedantics out there. Homer goes out and it's movie night in the Simpson household, and Lisa and Marge are hoping that he'll pick out a good movie. Marge wants Waiting to Exhale, and Lisa wants Emma. It don't get much more 1997 than that.
I've never seen either of those films. I've never heard of Emma. I've heard of Waiting to Exhale.
Yeah, I can picture the tape
covers,
box. Yep.
Yeah,
it's Gwyneth Paltrow like aiming a bow and arrow, like. And it's not like an action movie. It's like it's fun. I don't know.
Oh, a sad archery movie.
It reminds me of that time in movies where like there's tons of like meh Shakespeare type shit getting pumped up by Miramax, and because that fucking pervert had so much sway that it would win awards it doesn't deserve, like Shakespeare in Love and shit like that, like.
Which is also a piece of garbage with Gwyneth Paltrow,
which I have never seen, but I've just the reviews even aren't spectacular for it. Like,
yeah, you're not. I don't think that's a good film. You're not missing anything.
Did you see it when you were like a kid, or have you seen it like as an adult?
No, it's probably been 15 years.
Okay.
So I was probably around 20 when I finally was like, oh, what's this?
Yeah. It's like, ugh, just. Man, for a long time they were real bad about giving the best picture to the movie that didn't fucking deserve it.
Mm-hmm. That was the one that people, I'm pretty sure, are still sour about, because that was the year Gladiator didn't win.
No, I think Gladiator did win. Are you thinking maybe Saving Private Ryan?
That's the one I'm thinking of, yeah. Yep. Because, which, again, as we've discussed before, also a movie I don't care for. But I get it.
As we discussed too, I was a fan of another World War II epic that came out at that time called The Thin Red Line, and maybe it did get nominated, but yeah, it didn't stand up. Didn't even have a puncher's chance of winning. So that happened. There's a lot of that in the late 90s. There was in 1998, 2 Asteroids Are Going to Destroy the World movies came out, and I preferred the one that no one fucking gave a shit about, Deep Impact.
Oh, well, I can't follow you on that. Armageddon is so much better than Deep Impact.
Armageddon is fucking terrible. It's terrible.
Fucking great.
That is the tint of nostalgia is blinding your vision, Marlin.
A hodgepodge ragtag group of
That's
oil field
so
workers.
Dumb about it.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, God.
Aerosmith does not want to miss a thing, Nathan.
They should, yeah. Oh my God, we should have all missed all of it.
Fun fact that I'm willing to share: the end of Armageddon one of precious few movies that will reliably make me openly cry at the end of Armageddon. When Bruce Willis, spoiler alert for a fucking 20-year-old movie, is like taking Ben Affleck's place as the guy who has to stay behind. Ah, jeez.
Yeah. I thought maybe you're crying at the realization you just spent 2 hours watching Armageddon.
Well, it's a Michael Bay film, so it's way longer than that.
Yeah, there's 2 hours of explosions.
Steve Buscemi? Oh, man. Michael Clark Duncan?
I am happy that a lot of talented people were able to pay off a house by making that movie. Steve Buscemi got to do shit like that so he can make shit like Trees Lounge.
Fucking Deep Impact, I just thought was boring. Like, it's like, oh, here's the asteroid movie without any asteroid shit in it.
But the asteroid hits. It wipes out the eastern seaboard.
Yeah, in what is the only memorable 90 seconds of that film.
I am going to force you at gunpoint to watch Deep Impact. It is always the most ideal conditions to watch a movie.
Yeah, come over. Let's have an asteroid night. You and I'll sit and we'll have some wine and some cheese whiz, and we'll watch both of those asteroid movies.
Just eating finger daubs of cheese whiz because neither of us brought anything to eat with it. This ain't that bad.
Yep. Let's just hang out and eat cheese whiz straight out of the can and watch Armageddon and Deep Impact. To be fair, they are two entirely different movies going for entirely different things.
Yeah.
You know? Like Armageddon is a Michael Bay movie to its fucking core.
Doesn't Deep Impact star Téa Leoni? Like, it's a big movie for Téa Leoni to be like the major name attached to it.
Yeah, Téa Leoni and Robert Duvall, which I love Robert Duvall. Don't get me wrong.
Isn't Morgan Freeman the president, I think, too? Yeah.
Is Elijah Wood in that movie, or am I misremembering?
I don't think I saw that movie in the theater. Like, that's how long ago it was. Like,
you don't remember enough about that movie to be arguing its side of things.
That is totally a Nathan move. That's so Nathan.
Our new show, That's So Nathan. Yeah. That phenomenon of the two movies isn't just that, because you also had different years, I believe, obviously, but you had Tombstone and Wyatt Earp, which came out in the same year.
Yep.
One of which is amazing, and the other one is dog shit.
See, is Wyatt Earp that bad? I remember watching it when it came out and just thinking, how fucking long is this?
Well, that's so Nathan, because I also only saw it once 20 years ago and didn't like it, so I just stuck to that for the rest of my life. I remember that one, I'm pretty sure, has Robert Duvall in it, now that I think about it. Maybe I don't like Robert Duvall.
It does, I think. And the one thing in my head that movie scared me from ever renting VHS movies that were 2 tapes. Because it's like, I don't want to commit. Is this going to be... Because I didn't watch Heat for the longest time because that was a 2-taper. And I was like, I can't... What if it's like Wyatt Earp all over again? It's 3.5 hours of horse shit. And spoiler alert,
that movie's fucking boring.
Shit.
Heat rules. Heat to this day is fucking great.
The
Tombstone,
other movie,
awesome.
Yeah, Tombstone holds up. Like, I don't know, maybe it's not as good as it is when you're 12, but it's a good movie. It's an enjoyable, fun action western.
I saw it probably a year ago, and I was like, this isn't as amazing as I remember, but it's still very good.
Dialogue. Yep, damn right. And I know we've discussed it before, but my other example of that were 2 movies that were very similar came out. One was beloved, but the other one was forgotten, even though I thought the other was superior, is the movie Narc, which came out the same time as Training Day. And I like Training Day, but fucking Narc, man, is one of my favorite, like, cop, gritty, like, inner city drama movies that I've ever seen. Like, Narc is so good.
Is Narc Ray Liotta?
Ray Liotta and one of his best roles, and the always underrated Jason Patric.
Oh, I do like a Jason Patrick. I've never seen Narc. I love Training Day, but I've never seen Narc.
Mm-hmm. And Busta Rhymes, for those that are looking for a Busta Rhymes appearance.
We all are.
He's fine. He's fine. He does a good job.
I can't believe that this has happened so often, that we have so many examples, because I also had one more example, and it's not the one that you had.
Let's hear it. I'm interested now.
The other one I had was Dante's Peak and Volcano.
Yeah, I have never seen either all the way through.
I remember liking Dante's Peak and not liking Volcano. Volcano is real dumb as far as physics and science are concerned, but so is fucking Dante's Peak.
Which one's the Pierce Brosnan vehicle?
That's Dante's Peak.
Okay.
He's some manner of scientist going to study a volcano, and I remember Volcano was the one with all the graphics and all the magma. That was more the showpiece. And Dante's Peak, I'm not even sure that fucking volcano erupts, actually. I know it spits out a lot of ash, and for whatever reason, the lake is full of sulfuric acid for some reason.
Just a lot of scenes of scientists looking concerned while reading seismograph readings.
That is absolutely a real scene in that movie. Absolutely.
At least
once. They might go to that well a couple of times now that I think about it.
A lot of brows are furrowed while looking at seismograph readings.
Yep. A lot of the seismograph needle being nice and calm and then jutting wildly all over the page.
You know what is another example of this, but I've never seen either movie all the way through, so I can't have a hot take.
Holy shit, how often did this happen?
Probably 10 to 12 years ago, 2 turn-of-the-century magician movies came out at the same time.
God damn it.
There was The Prestige and one other one.
The Illusionist with Ed Norton.
Yep.
Holy
2006,
Christ.
The Prestige came out with Hugh Jackman.
And David fucking Bowie.
If you type in The Prestige, the first thing that comes up is The Prestige versus The Illusionist.
I've never seen The Illusionist. I love The Prestige.
The Prestige has someone like a bigger name behind it, right?
Christopher Nolan.
Oh, that's a Christopher Nolan. Okay, yeah.
That was I think that was his first in between Batman movies, because when he made those Batman movies, he would make a film in between.
I'm sure that was part of the deal. And I bet that studio was so bummed. Like, what? But we can't. There's already another 1890s magician movie coming out. Well, in my contract it says, oh fuck, Chris, why? Do we have? You know what Peter Jackson made? King Kong. He made a big kick-ass King Kong. Can't you try? How about a Mothra movie? Does that sound good?
Oh, I would watch the shit out of a Christopher Nolan Mothra movie. But you can't use that Peter Jackson example, because that King Kong movie sucks. That King Kong movie is bad.
I have never been so close to wanting to cancel this podcast. That movie is very good. Not great, very good. Enjoyable, big budget popcorn movie.
To be fair, I'm Nathaning it by having only seen it once when it was new, but I remember thinking, boy, for a giant King Kong movie, this movie's fucking boring.
See, I didn't see it when it came out. You watched it again at home. I mean, it probably loses something at home with the spectacle of it, but it's a well-done movie. It's a well-done movie.
I think a bad movie looks just as bad at home as it does on the big screen.
See, I think a bad movie or a mediocre movie can be saved in the theater sometimes. If it's like...
sure, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think if one of the saving graces is like the bombast of it, if that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can, especially big action movies, you can bump up a letter grade just by being, the spectacle of the big screen.
Or I've been to a handful of mediocre to shitty horror movies. If it's in a packed theater and the crowd's into it, that can make it that can be a saving grace. Like, I don't know if that movie was any good, but that experience was good.
The Marvel movies were always better, seeing them opening weekend with a hot crowd that's cheering and shit. Yeah.
Good point. Very good point.
what the fuck are we even talking about?
What's this podcast even about?
The Prestige.
I remember discussing this.
I will make a Prestige podcast just to rave about how good the Prestige is.
Do you think Hugh Jackman really knows magic? Is he intrigued by it?
No, but I bet Christian Bale does. Like, he's the real magician in that movie.
Oh,
Michael Caine, David Bowie.
Yeah.
God, that movie's good.
Yeah, Christian Bale has made some fucking bangers in his lifetime.
Christopher Nolan also has made some bangers.
Yeah,
he's made some
average.
dog shit too, but
what would be his dog shit movies?
Fucking The Dark Knight Rises.
It's a movie I need to give a try to. I think I missed it in the theater and I watched it like half not paying attention. I've always heard it's by far the weakest of the three, but
for sure. For me, that movie is if Bane is not on screen, I am not into this.
Interesting.
And like structurally, from a story perspective, it needs a lot of work. I also think Interstellar is just okay.
I enjoyed it. I didn't flip my lid, but I thought it was good. It was one of those movies. I love how ambitious it was. Like,
yeah, and I give that to a lot of his movies, like Inception. I always think of like, boy, I'm glad you got to make this thing. Even if I don't love it, I'm glad you got to make it.
Yep, because studios never want to take chances on shit unless it's a remake or it's based off a video game or a comic book. And I don't even blame the studio. I blame us. I blame people.
Yeah, we're the problem.
Hey, you're sick of Marvel movies? Quit fucking going to them. Go to the random shit that's a brand new idea. Let's make some new fucking franchises, like.
And I'm not tired of Marvel movies, but go see something else every so often too.
Yeah, Marvel movies I don't get and I'm not a big Marvel guy, but like the craftsmanship is always good. They're rarely ever duds,
Yeah, they're always well made at the very least.
Yep. But The Simpsons, that's a show we've discussed minutes, if not hours ago. So.
Okay, so David Bowie is Nikola Tesla, and he's invented some man... Okay, all right.
Got to get it out. Get it out.
I'm done.
So they wanted a modern movie that the whole family can enjoy. Homer rents Paint Your Wagon because him and Bart think it's this brutal, violent Western with Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood. But to their dismay, it turns out that Paint Your Wagon is a fun-loving Western musical, which Lisa and Marge enjoyed. There's a great line of dialogue where it's gonna use oil-based paint because the wood is pine. It's so great. God, Lee Marvin singing that was so enjoyable.
I love his super gruff Lee Marvin singing voice, just gravelly, mumbly bullshit. It's so good. I love that Lisa refers to Lee Marvin as dreamy. There's nothing funnier to me than an 8-year-old girl thinking old ass Lee Marvin is dreamy.
And if we want to do a quick Lee Marvin PSA, if you want some no-nonsense Lee Marvin movie watching fun, check out Point Blank. It is Lee Marvin being told to be Lee Marvin for 90 minutes. All
right.
Hey, Lee, for the next 90 minutes, don't fuck around. Here's a gun. Okay.
All right, you got it.
I'm going to rough some people up and shoot some shit. You don't see his teeth once in that movie. He never smiles. He doesn't even yell. He's just fucking stone-faced.
Stone-faced killer. Yep.
Kisses a woman without opening his mouth, like Ben used to do it. Because enjoying it would show weakness.
In between slamming steaks and whiskey, I just close mouth kiss ladies.
You never go down on your wife because you don't want her to have the impression that sex is supposed to be enjoyable.
This is for me. I'm Lee Marvin.
I hope he said that mid-fuck at some point. This is for me. I'm Lee Marvin.
To his longtime wife, she knows who he is.
Yeah, my name is also Marvin because I'm married to you. My name's Leona Marvin.
That's more Lee Marvin content than any other podcast on the planet puts out this week. Yeah. I guarantee it.
And I want you guys to really enjoy the laughter you just heard, because that's about the fucking end of the laughter in this episode.
Fuck.
We find out this is yet another fucking clip episode.
It is a fucking stealth clip show, Nathan.
It sold me. I was kind of into this. Oh, yeah, God damn it.
I was taking notes like, this is going to be a fun episode where it turns out that Barton and Homer find out that they like musicals or something. These Lee Marvin jokes are hot. I'm just taking notes, enjoying myself.
It's so gross. And they fucking rub our noses in. Early on, they have to show, hey, remember when we used to put a Beatle in every other episode? There's George Harrison stiffing his fucking weirdly shaped head out of a car window. It's like, and the fucking hubris, Marlin. Are these fucking writers so tone deaf? They got to realize this show is fading. This fucking show is fading. And instead of trying to write a good episode, they thumb their fucking noses at us. Hey, fuck these goddamn jabronis. We got them on the hook. Let's fucking take a week off and shove a goddamn clip show down their fucking throats.
And a musical clip show. The musical numbers in The Simpsons, not my favorite part of The Simpsons. It's like not even fucking close.
They should have cut to whatever was showing on the other 3 networks at that time. Like, hey, you want to watch Murder, She Wrote? Go right ahead, Sheffer Braids. We're going to show more clip shows. You'll come back, you fucking slut.
6 minutes into this episode, it just cuts to King of the Hill.
Yeah. It's like you enjoy King of the Hill because that show's new and it's fresh and it's got energy, but you gotta sit through The Simpsons because you don't want to watch fucking Wonderful World of Disney on ABC. So shut up.
What else are you gonna do, you fat piece of shit? It's just a Fox executive on the screen helicoptering his dick at you.
Yeah. Hey, Schifferbrains, you're going to go watch Madeleine Albright get interviewed on 60 Minutes? No, you don't know who that is because you're dumb as shit. You're going to sit here like a good little bitch and you're going to wait for fucking King of the Hill to start up.
Hope you enjoyed football earlier. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Oh, what kind of fucking assholes do this? You're betraying your fans when you fucking do a goddamn musical-themed clip show.
Where have all the cowboys gone? I want to feel the heat with somebody. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Oh, big old jet airliner. 'Cause it's here that I got to stay. Baby, how you feeling? Feeling good as hell. And it's 18 in life to go.
No shit, man. Fucking insulting. Episode 13 is Bart Carney, my favorite one of the bunch.
This was a fun premise. I don't know if I put it up there with the Miracle on Evergreen Terrace, but it was enjoyable. I like the characters. I like that we get to meet some new enjoyable Cooter and Spud, which is a great combo name.
I used to work with a guy who was colloquially known as Cooter to everyone in town. Oh, perfect. We should introduce the two of them.
I'm still very good friends with Spud.
I haven't talked to Cooter in probably 20 years, so that would be weird. The backyard is an absolute jungle because the kids have not been taking care of it, and Marge is withholding their allowance because of that. They don't get an allowance until they go work in the yard.
I miss that level of laziness. It seems like you could only achieve when you're young. Like, when was the last time you sat upside down in a chair like Bart?
Never, as far as I can tell.
Never?
No.
Oh, I did that shit all the time as a kid.
I would see that surprises me because I figured by the time you and I were both 8, we look like we do now, and that's not ergonomically possible.
At that time,
hang upside down in an easy chair like that.
It wasn't good for it. If I tried to do it now, I would demolish an easy chair. I'd just be sitting on a pile of hinges and wood.
And all the blood rush to your head, I can't imagine.
But then you do it long enough, and your equilibrium switches, so the ceiling becomes the floor, and I would just sit there and daydream about what that life would be like. Like, oh man, like I'd have to make sure I step over because there's a little bit of a lip now when you try to get into doorways. This would be really cool.
Trip over these light fixtures. Man, you and I had two different childhoods.
And meanwhile, my mom is drinking coffee, watching her 16-year-old son. I think it's a Tuesday. He should be in school. He smells so bad now. I don't like to tell him anything. He just barks at me.
Something wrong with that boy of ours. Oh, God. So the kids aren't getting an allowance because they refuse to take care of the backyard like they said they would. And then we see the carnival is coming to town. We see
loved it.
The caravan of carnival cars come by the house, and they're like, oh man, we gotta go to the carnival, we need money for the carnival. And Marge steps in to be like, you're not getting any. And just as soon as she starts in on them, Homer charges in front of him
through the door
and just opens his wallet and is like, take some money,
take whatever you need.
Immediately fucking undermines Marge.
Yep.
Oh God, I laughed at that. The very first thing I think of when I think of the carnival, well, number one might be the Insane Clown Posse, but right behind it, at number two, have you ever seen the HBO series Carnival?
No, I got friends that swear by it, and I've never watched it. I've been told I should.
It's one of those that I think is very good, and it's one of those that got canceled before it should have, so all of the things that they were setting up just died.
Yeah,
but
that's the pits.
That's a show that, again, I haven't seen in probably 20 years, but I remember really liking, so I always need to include that whenever I see the word carnival. And this is a carnival that looks like no carnival I've ever been to, which leads me to believe that I've never been to a carnival.
I think when they say carnival, they just mean county fair, at least in where we're from. That's just a good old-fashioned county fair.
Yeah, our county fair didn't have any of this.
Yeah, we've discussed every part of what should be a happy childhood was just something that would remind you of how deprived you and your other fellow moon people.
See, this looks like the state fair to me, which I never got to go to till I was 17.
Yeah, that was. I mean, our county fair wasn't quite that good, but I mean, it was decent. There wasn't like a handful of. That's so fucking insane to me that every summer you didn't get to hang out, watch carnival trash, dupe people out of their money playing the ring toss and stuff like that.
No, I've never thrown a ring. I've never won a giant bear. I don't think I've ever done the squirt gun clown mouth game that we see here.
We need to take you to the Red River Valley Fair and make a video montage of me showing you around the fair as the Go-Go's vacation plays in the background. Just having the time of your life, even with the mundane shit, like waiting in line, just smiling ear to ear.
I am 35 years old and have never had a funnel cake. Like this sounds like a UNICEF ad now.
Yeah. So if you had never had like a corn dog made right in front of you where they dip it in the batter and then fry it immediately on a big stick with like a misshapen, like, oh man, bro, this has to change.
I've never had a corn dog that wasn't A, off the Schwann's truck, or B, from a gas station.
Dude, a fresh dip corn dog is a delight. Like, I'm just thinking about it now. That is a treat.
A gas station corn dog is a delight.
Oh yeah, you get it fresh. I'll take any kind of corn dog.
Yeah,
But you get a crispier outside when they do the flash fry right in front of you.
I'll bet. No, it sounds delightful. I'm not fighting you on this.
You want to watch a man grip a hot dog. You know he has held his own dick as he's pissed all weekend. There ain't a goddamn shower in sight. He is handling your hot dog with bare hands as he stuffs a stick inside it. Then he dips it in that sweet, sweet batter, and all is forgotten, brother.
Sounds delightful. It's like when all this row is over with and we can go to a carnival or a county fair or whatever, when we go, I I hope you're prepared for me to be so bewildered and happy about the dumbest, smallest things.
So I have a question written down that doesn't even fucking matter because I know the answer is no. But did you ever, as a child, go on one of those horseshit spook show rides where you go on a, you know, you're on like a track and it takes you through and shit jumps out at you, you know,
like the one Lisa and Bart ride here.
Yeah, I went to one of those that was depressingly bad, but then at the end it's like a fucking maintenance man jumped out with like a fucking Michael Myers mask. I almost gave my buddy a coronary because we were 6. Yeah.
I like, so we get that segment here where Bart and Lisa go on this like spooktacular ride and they're just like bored the whole time going through it. There's like broken shit, like there's supposed to be a vampire pop out of a coffin, but it's just the spring.
Just the spring.
But it still plays the sound clip of the vampire speaking, which I thought was funny. And I love that when they get to the end of the ride, the carny that sold them the tickets apologizes.
Yeah. Another great carnival gag was them all wanting to go on the tooth chipper.
Yeah.
And Marge is like, Homer, you can't, you have a heart condition. He's like, what? He's like, you had a quadruple bypass. You almost died. He's like, I don't remember that. And then 20 seconds on the ride, all we hear is, ow, my heart.
Oh, God.
God. And like this, anytime we get this shit, it makes me think like, I remember being like 15 and seeing a handwritten note on like the booth where you buy your ride tickets at the Bottineau County Fair. It was Carnival Help Wanted, $6 an hour, and just being like, oh, damn it, $6? That's so fucking cool.
What a life.
And man, that could have been me fucking open road making a dishonest living, I guess. Just not a care of dental hygiene in the world. Just fucking out on the, just living, brother.
If you could work a booth at the carnival, what booth would you want to work?
I would definitely be more game orientated than ride orientated.
I could see that.
I think I think a ride is probably easier, but shit can't go tragically wrong in the fucking ring toss. Like, I don't want a kid to fall into the PTO of a fucking tractor that's running a tilt-a-whirl. Like, I don't want to get sprayed by children mush. Like,
I think that you are more suited to the games also because I could see you barking. I could see you being a fucking, come on, step right up shit. I could see you doing that.
Yeah, I'd pull the soft sell. I could be, hey, you know, I could convince them they got a shot. I'd be good at that, I think.
Homer is an easy mark because he's walking around with his wad of money out.
Big wad of money, yeah.
This is where we meet Cooter and Spud, who run the ring toss booth. Homer, of course, does not win, but Cooter gives him a little consolation prize anyway, because Cooter seems to be a nice carny. And then we get a fucking Texas oil man, the man who owns the carnival, bragging about Hitler's limousine that he has
so great.
Up on a pedestal here, which Bart, of course, being the rapscallion he is, he gets into the limousine, undoes the parking brake, and plows through one of the stands into a fence.
So good.
And Bart, in exchange, is going to have to work off his debt as a carny, and Homer leaps at the opportunity to join him. So we have Homer and Bart being carnies, and Bart is shoveling horse shit, and Homer is the victim of the dunk tank, and they show him climbing up to his little breakaway board, and he's like pleading with these people like, okay, hold on, hold your fire. The water level in this tank is dangerously low, and they immediately drop him into it, and you hear him just hit the solid tank.
Oh, yeah. There's a slight splash and a loud thud.
They get stuck working the ring toss booth because Cooter and Spud have to go to their AA meeting. Spud, by the way, being Bart's age.
Yeah, with a hell of a rat tail. My God.
Yeah, it is a rat tail for the books.
The rat tail is the weakest commitment one can have to a rebellious hairstyle.
Yeah.
Because you won't even have business in the front, party in the back. You got 90% business in the back with just a tendril of party.
Yeah,
like,
which is
why
worse.
not have a mullet?
Yeah, if you're going to have a rat tail, have a mullet.
Yeah, have the fucking flowing lettuce coming out the sides, man. Like, Jesus, that's like a rat tail. That's just like you see a rat tail, it ruins your afternoon. Like, oh man, this poor guy probably can't read that good. It's like,
I don't even want to go to the movie theater.
You see a mullet, it's like, fuck yeah, this dude is this fucking, warrant concert got a whole lot better if this dude's going to be loud and proud the whole time. I am for this.
I'm singing Sometimes She Cries with that guy.
Yep, because he's going to be really into it.
The amount of times I have seen Warrant and
me too, brother,
loudly sang along to Sometimes She Cries is in double digits.
That's great. I don't think I'm quite there yet, but
that song fucking slaps. Wiggum comes over and he wants a bride because the ring toss game is rigged, but Homer's too dumb to take any of his extremely obvious hints, such as I'm looking for Mr. Bribe and saying the word wink as he winks. Yeah. And the cops take off with the ring toss booth. They just hook it up. Everything's on a trailer, apparently, which makes sense. And they fucking take off with the ring toss booth. Just in time for Cooter and Spud to get home, or back to the carnival, which I guess is home now that I think about it, and be dismayed because that's all their stuff, and they're home because we saw earlier they sleep in the ring toss booth. Homer is going to fix this, and there's a great moment where he's like, you guys will come stay at our house, and it cuts to Marge and Lisa sitting on the couch like miles away, and Marge just shudders like she's cold all of a sudden, and Lisa's like, what was that? And she goes, I don't know. But I love that Marge has this spidey sense that she can tell there's a disturbance in the force. Homer has done something horrible.
There's trash getting invited to live in my home.
I love that. I love that idea of her having this spidey sense that Homer is up to no good. Marge refers to the two of them as roustabouts, which I wrote down because that's a good-ass word.
Yep.
I really like roustabouts. They're living at the Simpson household, and Marge not impressed with Cooter putting his bare feet up on her coffee table. They're all sitting around having dinner, and Cooter gives them tickets to a glass-bottom boat ride, which I didn't know was a thing, or maybe it's just from The Simpsons, but either way. And I love that they're all looking out the bottom of the glass bottom boat on this little tour, apparently, and there's just trash and radioactive waste and an empty drum of or maybe it's full of little Lisa's slurry. and then there's just a shark attacking the bottom of the boat because Homer and Bart are antagonizing it. They're like standing on the glass. Bart has his ass out waving it at the shark, and it's just attacking the bottom of the boat.
And again, aren't they in the Midwest? Everything always changes in the show.
Springfield has whatever you need it to have.
Freshwater sharks.
Yeah, those killer Midwestern freshwater great whites. They get back to the house, and Cooter and Spud have locked the Simpsons out of their house, boarded up all the windows, and changed the name on the mailbox.
So great.
The Cooters are squatting at the Simpson house.
And how they give up and just live in the treehouse.
Yep, they're just resigned to living in the treehouse pretty much immediately. They show Cooter and Spud in the living room, and Cooter says, why don't you throw another photo album on the fire? I'm cold. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a funny joke. And expecting Spud to throw it on the fireplace, but no, they have a burning barrel in the living room.
It's the carny way.
that he hucks a family photo album into.
That house has a working furnace. They could just turn the heat up on the thermostat.
Or a fireplace, and they have a fucking hobo barrel in there.
So great.
God, that was fucking funny.
And I did dawn on me, Cooter has a strong resemblance to Joe Exotic.
Oh, shit. I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah.
The Cooter, by the way, voiced by the late, great Jim Varney.
Interesting. No kidding.
I didn't know it at the time. I spent a lot of this episode being like, I should know who that voice is.
Yeah. And the voice of Spud is the voice that he always used for any other boy that's like an antagonist to Bart.
Yeah. Bart's enemy always has that voice. I don't know who does it, but it's always
he's the
that
Shelbyville,
voice.
The main Shelbyville kid has that voice.
The Bart doppelganger from Shelbyville. Yeah. Homer makes a wager. He tells Cooter that he wants to have a ring toss game where if Homer can throw the hula hoop over the chimney of the house, that they get the house back, and if not, he'll give the deed to Cooter and Spud. So Cooter comes out, and Homer's lining up his shot and adjusting for the wind and spits on his hands, really leans into getting ready, and then the Simpson family all rush into the house and lock the door.
Yep. It's such a great move. Again, didn't see it coming. Well done, Simpsons. I did not see that move coming.
Likewise.
And Homer peeking through the mail slot was great. Here's a question. Hate to get us too off subject. We've been doing it every fucking episode. But are mail slots and doggy doors just something you see on TV, or is that just something we don't have because it's below zero for 6 months out of the year? You know what I mean?
I have seen a doggy door in person. So those exist.
How?
I have never seen a mail slot. I don't think that's real at all.
Yeah, I just don't get how you can conceivably have a doggy door in our climate. Your heat bill must be through the fucking roof.
Well, I think it's just a summer thing because you can lock a doggy door. So I'm sure that I'm sure that come winter,
it takes your dog a couple times to learn that in the hard way. A dog in the neighborhood with a fucking halo on. Oh man! Sorry, Buckles.
how'd your Jack Russell Terrier end up in this wheelchair?
Funny story.
Well, it was the first fresh snow of the year, and apparently he had to pee real bad. We heard a thump, and next thing you know, we're at the vet's office. I was lobbying to just put him down, but Greg, he can't live without Buckles.
So we're going to torture Buckles by keeping him alive.
Dog with a neck brace on.
Oh, yeah.
So the Simpsons go running in there. Yeah, Homer opens up the mail slot and mocks Cooter and Spud. And Cooter tells Spud, well, we've been beaten by the best. And Spud says, the best? They're not. And Cooter cuts him off. We've been beaten by the best. And they leave. And then we see the Simpsons reclaiming their house, which is really right before the credits, the end of the episode. I only mention it because Lisa has the garden hose from the backyard hosing down one of the chairs, which I thought was so funny because you can't clean upholstery like that. That chair immediately weighs 1,100 pounds and is full of black mold.
Yeah, I just like the idea that carnies are so repulsive that a week of them staying in your home means you have to hose everything down.
I really fucking liked that episode a whole bunch.
That was a keeper.
Yeah. And that wraps up this week's batch of episodes. Do you feel better than you did at this time last week?
I don't feel worse. And I find that this batch was maybe marginally better than the last batch. It still bums me out, man. We had times where all 5 episodes were just screamers. I don't know, man. Yeah, it just sucks that. I mean, I knew it was coming, but it sucks to know that there's never going to be those times where it's just 5 absolute killers in a row. But hey, I'm an adult. I can handle. I can process loss.
Yeah.
I can process it, and I can move on.
5 stages of
here we
grief.
are. Yeah, I'm in acceptance now.
What is grief if not love persevering, Nathan?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, exactly. We have this beautiful baby. We have to keep it.
It's a shout out to the WandaVision watchers from this past week. Yeah, I was not as down on last week's as much as you were, and I think I am higher on this week's than you are. So
we need one of us to be, because it's going to be a somber day when both of us have reached this bitter realization.
I will take on the oxen yoke of positivity and drag. I'll be the Tigger to your Eeyore, Nathan.
There we go. Yeah,
and we'll get through this.
But yeah, I had some laughs. I don't think anything this week was as bad as the low points of last week.
Well, other than that fucking clip show. But
yeah, I mean,
I almost don't even count that.
Disregard that nonsense.
And we got some good Lee Marvin jokes out of it, you and I, so it's worth it.
Yeah.
Next week we have what is it? These numbers are all fucked up because of that one out of order one. So next week, by the Disney Plus numberings, we will be doing episodes 14 through 18 of season 9. That'll all get sorted out when we switch to a new season, thankfully, and I won't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, I'd love to know what happened there. Why? If that's just they dropped the ball, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious, but I at this point just want to get past it. What else is going on in your life, Nathan? Certainly, you must have something.
I got my first Roro shot, and I'm just biding my time to get my second Roro shot.
How long is the
spider
wait?
Senses haven't kicked in yet.
You don't have your own 5G reception?
Yeah. They gave me another option. They just put the microchip directly up my asshole. They said that's much better. They get better signal that way. So I'm like, hey, anything to help the CIA. I just want them to follow everything I do.
I would prefer that because I don't like needles, but have no problem with butt stuff. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
let's go that route.
I didn't get sick at all. I got the Pfizer one. I've heard the Moderna one is the one that can run you through the ringer a little bit more. But
okay. No, you weren't laid up for a day or feeling sick or anything like that?
The nurse mentioned, if anything, it'll be the next one that I have give you a rough day. Okay.
I have a friend who the first one was like some mild side effects, but nothing major. And then the second one hit her a little harder. But both preferable to having the Roro.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I kind of felt run down a little bit, but that might have just been my lifestyle. Just the lack of sleep.
That's not the vaccine. That's 40 years of life choices coming home to roost.
Shoddy living.
I, for the last week, have been trying to mix the perfect Bloody Mary. Because God damn it, do I love Bloody Marys, and I think that buying mix is a cop-out, and I've always I'll throw together a Bloody Mary, whatever, but I've been doing science and really thinking about my choices in Bloody Mary mixing over the past week, and really, I've been drinking 2 Bloody Marys a night for a week and a half now, is really what I'm getting at.
You're a health nut. Don't apologize for it.
Horrifying heartburn because tomato sauce does that to me. Or tomato juice. Mm-hmm. Tomato sauce. That's why these all suck. Boy, these are thick.
You're making you're more of an icy. You got a lot of blender getting used.
Some real thick Bloody Marys. God damn it.
I like a good one. Yeah, shout out to the Ranger Bar in Minot, North Dakota. They'll make a Bloody Mary or a Caesar that'll change your afternoon, man.
Oh, yeah.
Really turn a hangover around and just make a weekend look a lot sunnier.
I've been doing, so my magic ingredient list is pretty basic, nothing special. Celery salt, a pickle spear, Worcestershire sauce, or however you say that, hot sauce. I've been using Tapatio, which seems to be working pretty well, and vodka and tomato juice. So I think I've got it about dialed in. I think I'm 95% there. Last night's experiment could have used a little more Worcestershire and a little less hot sauce, but we're getting it dialed in.
There we go.
Also, life hack, I ran out of glasses, and I think maybe this is just the life I am going to live now, made a Bloody Mary in a protein shaker, and that was perfect.
That's awesome.
The shaker bottle with the whisk ball in there, fuck yeah.
There you go. Makes it easy if you want to go for a cruise, but but I'm just saying, if one wanted to live that lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh, you getting some post-workout in there, bro? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This is about 40% carb. I'm trying to get my slop vodka numbers up.
It's about the macros, bro.
Man, I have not tore into a bottle of Kharkov vodka in a while. I don't know if that's a complaint or a pat myself on the back. But
I also have not touched a bottle of Car Crash in a lot of years.
I have like good thoughts in my head when I think of Kharkov, because at a time when I was young enough where drinking was fun. The day you crack open a bottle of Kharkov and look around, there's not another person in the room, and you don't plan on meeting anyone later, that's when, oh boy, hello darkness, my old friend. Because you are going down a lonesome road.
Yeah, I've never been in that place, so I'll take your word for it. You can find us online at barleybasketUSA@gmail.com is the email address. At barleybasketUSA is where you can find us pretty much everywhere else. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and now YouTube. So you can find us there as well if you would care to weigh in on this these heated discussions about Deep Impact versus Armageddon. There's only one right answer.
We want all your hottest takes.
And 5 more episodes next week.
I'll listen to them. I'll watch them.
You gonna watch them, not just listen to them?
I think I'm going to give it a try. Give them both.
Oh, do the
Visual
audio and the
audio.
visual, yeah.
Yeah, combine them. See how that feels.
Maybe that's why you're not liking these. You're just listening to them. You're missing out.
Could be the same thing with Armageddon. I've only listened to it on audio cassette.
Well, that can't be the case, because if you had only listened to it, you got that Aerosmith song, and that puts it over the top just on its own. So
that's what ruined it for me. Ooh, hot take. Hot take.
You bastard. All right. Well, I'm going to go not miss a thing. Everyone enjoy your week.
Bye, everybody.